What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 80. I can't believe we've made it to 80 fucking episodes. We don't make money off this, so I can absolutely get us demonetized within the first 10 seconds. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter yet. But I'm joined by Mila and Grant, as always. And as always, we have a jam-packed episode. Arsenal play Chelsea. There's the Manchester Derby. United have a new caretaker. Semenyo played a game for City, and literally the world fell apart for Spurs. It continues to. I want to talk about that a little bit. And one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world, decided that it was time to get rid of their manager. And it's a player versus manager special. We will save a lot of the conversation for another episode with the Real Madrid boys, but I do want to talk about it a little bit because I think it's kind of funny. It's nice to laugh at another club that's not my club. You know what I mean? You know,
I do.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll take a win where I can get one. All right, let's kick on into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. They just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little prediction? That was the last time they showed initiative to go get a fucking player.
City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15?
We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
We add in a new thing, and Mila immediately gets the fucking super predicky. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I don't get credit for my super predicky, but Mila gets his with a 2-1 result for Fulham with Harry. What was it, Harry Wilson?
It was Harry Wilson.
Son of
Sure
a bitch.
was.
So he was close to getting 2 predickies on the day with a almost Sesko and United 2-1 victory, which is crazy. To get almost 2 super predickies in the first fucking rundown is. It almost makes me a little upset.
Bro, I haven't gotten a result right in like a month.
you
It's not
keep
looking good.
between Chelsea and United, like not picking up wins and United not picking up either losses or wins. It's really screwed your data here.
Yeah, and City 3 draws. I mean, it's been dark over here.
It has been dark. I'm not having fun.
No,
but our channel is. Whoa, transition plug. 175 subscribers as of today. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. We're coming out with videos every day, high quality stuff. So help us out. Help us get to 200. I mean, we're at 175. It's only 25 more people that look at this portion of the video and go, oh, you know what? I'll just click that stupid button and get an influx of videos every single day. Anyways, the big match that is on Wednesday, we aren't going to preview the City Newcastle one, is the first leg of the EFL Cup between Chelsea and Arsenal. And you know how this podcast works. We just don't talk about Arsenal. So we're not going to do it. We're not going to say, how does Arsenal win? We don't do that. It's not in our DNA. We will have Facundo on whenever they drop points again. But we are going to talk about Chelsea. Grant, you got to see the first glimpses of a new manager in charge. So I'll let you spearhead the conversation with maybe what you saw from there and how Chelsea can lead that into this matchup.
Yeah, 5-1 win in the cup away from home, championship side. You take that. I think it's a little flattering, the scoreline. But in terms of the football itself, very similar principles. We saw the 3-2-5 shape a lot of managers use. It was Hato who was playing in the left 10. Obviously, we saw a lot of that with Maresca. But yeah, I thought overall you immediately saw that shape, something similar. So again, not drastic, but I think a lot of his job is going to be trying to galvanize these guys and getting them all on the same page. I think we saw struggles there in the past, whether that was because of what's being said above them or not. It was an issue for some players, especially in a squad of our size. So I don't think all the issues are going to be the football, but I did like what I saw. However, Charlton away and Arsenal at home are 2 very different opponents, very different games, especially over 2 legs. Caicedo is suspended for this game, so I think that's a big talking point. I think it's very likely we see Andre Santos from the start. He did start next to Caicedo in the cup. Again, a player that our manager is very familiar with, that he captained. So I think we're probably going to see him. Reece James is also a question mark, along with Cole Palmer and Malo Gusto, fitness wise. So there's a few questions going into the game, but I like what I saw. The attack looked good. Jamie Gittins looked very confident off of his weaker side. He was definitely our brightest attacker. Part, we're probably going to see Neto and Palmer, but I know there's some positives to take, but it's Charlton in the cup, so you can only take so much. This is the first real big test, and it's his second game in charge. Yeah, it's a lot, especially without Caicedo. I think that's a very important piece to this one.
Yeah, Mila, how important is it that Chelsea have a good showing here with the new manager going up against a big rival? Do you think this is like one of those, if he can get off to a good start, it can change the complexity of?
I think it could be important for the fans in terms of winning over them. But if you're the Chelsea board, the people that decide who's actually in that seat, and you know this game's coming up and you're going to fire a manager before it, or it comes to that, then I think they're fine with whatever the result is, knowing that's the case. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's in the best position to go and win this by any means, especially with the injuries. But like Grant said, second game in charge to come and have to go play Arsenal is tough. Could be a good litmus test, but it could be too early for that as well. So it's not really like a player, I guess, where you could just throw him in the deep end. He kind of needs the tools, and if there's lacking the tools and the experience, I think from the manager, it'll be a tough one.
I'm curious to see just fitness wise for both teams how they approach this. Obviously, this isn't like the most important trophy that you can win, but you're in a competition against your biggest rival. So, like from an Arsenal perspective, do they play guys like Declan Rice that have been carrying injuries into this, and you can give them a full week off before another Premier League game? Like that's big stuff. I think you could say the same about Chelsea. Like, are you going to play? I'm assuming Reece James plays because there's no Caicedo, but there's a give and take of just all the injuries in general. Like you mentioned, Cole Palmer potentially not playing for the same reason. Like if you can give this guy a full week off, is that worth the risk and reward here? And from his perspective, like getting off to a good start, that's kind of where I see it. Can he get off to I mean, that's a lot of credit in the bank. And as humans, we judge books by covers. And while this Charlton game was a 5-1 win, it wasn't all, sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. It was you still conceded. It didn't look great for the entirety, right?
Yeah, it was another set piece we conceded from.
Yeah.
Took a little bit. I mean, it was the end of the first half, a wonder strike to get us into the goals. But yeah, once we got there.
Yeah, and I can almost imagine the response that could happen if, like, let's just say Arsenal pump you guys at home and run away with it, right? And they beat you like a convincing 2-0 or a 3-1, something like that. The immediate reaction is going to be, well, Enzo Maresca literally got us a 1-1 draw with 10 men. And that we talked about this in terms of the comparison. So it's a tough one. And so based off of what you saw in that last match, how do Chelsea beat one of the best teams in the world right now? Is there like a certain way you think that you can get at Arsenal at this current moment, or is it just like vibes?
No, I mean, I don't think the comparison is as big there in terms of Maresca. Most of our fans didn't even like him to begin with. But I think the whole incident has ended up really just putting a spotlight on where the issue is. So the fans are definitely on the same page right now. It's the only real silver lining out of the situation. But in terms of style of play and how we can move forward for this game, we saw two pivot players playing in really close proximity next to each other with Caicedo and Santos. And again, they're playing against Charlton, 11 men behind the ball, but very comfortable, very controlled. Obviously, they both have the physicality to be able to cover ground versus one of your pivot players getting forward and then a fullback replacing him. You really just had the one fullback that has to come back for transition. So I think that's definitely something we need to look at defensively. Those wide center backs, one of them being a fullback, they need to be able to defend those wide channels. That's why I really do think. I mean, Fofana hasn't played for like 2 weeks. I think he has to start this game. I think that's really important for us. Tosin, who again I do not think he starts in this game, but his ball progression was definitely important for us in that game. So, I mean, again, we've had Chalaba in that position most of the year. He does not have the ability on the ball Tosin does, but given our issues defending in transition, there's a reason we play with Chalaba every week. But I think that close proximity and then also both of the 10s being able to drop a little deeper and just kind of connect the play, it was much more concise. So I think that's probably something that we're going to have to look at. But again, in the midfield, those two pivot players are so important. We're missing one that's really important. I think it ends up being Reece James Santos. Enzo's probably in that 10. I assume Palmer's going to play. If not, it's probably Esteval. But I think Gusto probably holds with wide. Cucurella is the left center back in possession. It's probably going to look something like that. I just think that the attack needs to step up. We had a lot of opportunities against Charlton, and again, it is against Charlton, but in terms of chance creation, we're just funneling everything wide. Gittins looked really good. Garnacho, not so much. I think when we're out wide, we need to be able to create those triangles that we did against Charlton. And a guy like Palmer needs to be on his game. We've been calling him out lately. Again, he's not at full fitness, but when you're out there, we need something. So, yeah, the guys just need to be on it, man, because I don't think Arsenal take this game as seriously as we do. I think in the position they're in the league, that's the top priority, and they will not take any chances in dropping points. We'll probably see Madueke from the start. Shit, maybe even Norgard. You know what I mean? Like they still probably think they can win this game with that. I think that's the quality of the depth there, but they'll probably rotate heavily. I think we still maybe rotate a few guys, but this game needs to be taken really seriously. Like you said, Dylan, a really easy way to get the fans behind you, beat Arsenal. We haven't beat them in a long time.
Yeah. I think from an Arsenal perspective, they will take a 0-0, right? They can go out there with losing a match narrowly or getting a draw, and it'll still be a win for them. I expect them to rotate. Mila, from their perspective, do you think they have anything that they can give Chelsea problems with in terms of that level of stuff? Like, do you think they've got anything that really problems them?
I think Grant nailed it when he said that Caicedo's not going to be playing. We've talked about it plenty. His impact on that Chelsea team and that Arsenal midfield is just too good. I think they're going to struggle a lot in that midfield battle. But this is perfect time for Santos to step up and show that he's got it. He did a really good job against City in the league, coming on and kind of bringing some balance to the game for Chelsea. So if he can do the same against Arsenal, I think along with the manager, it's just a step in the right direction for him and the manager if they can get that going.
Yeah. The couple of keys that I have to this game is not letting a new character do stuff for Arsenal. Gyökeres has been way out of form, and we've talked about it. Chelsea love to give a guy that's way out of form his first goal in a while, and if we were to predict this game and he starts, I could absolutely see him scoring. It's just one of those things. Like, it's just been the MO of this team. So you can't let that happen. You just can't let a new player from this team fill in, right? And they're going to try to kill you on set pieces. That's just what they do with every team. You guys are weak at that point. They're going to be aiming for corners and set pieces. It's just what they do. And then from a Chelsea perspective, I'm assuming that they start Lewis Skelly again, and he's looked really shaky in his minutes recently.
That's food.
I think he's just out of it. I think whether it's Palmer or Esteval or even Neto, somebody's got to expose that one weakness.
He had a nice goal in the cup, but like it was that bullshit chop he had, and then takes 2 seconds to hit it on his right. That is not working in the Prem.
Yeah, but this is a player player so out of form that regardless of who's in that position, I think that has to be the main trigger for all offense going forward. Because even Ben White is been really good in his minutes this season, and they played Nodegaard at center back in their last match, which
I did.
they played a poor team. So I don't expect them to do that again. But you just have to find weaknesses. And this Arsenal team, as much as we like to hate on them, they don't have many defensively, if any at all. They don't. The only reason they concede goals is because they're having to put so much energy and effort towards putting the ball in the back of the net themselves. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I have no idea. We can do predictions for it just so we can say that I told you so and have a one up on each other. This won't be a part of the predickies. So
So I'll
you
get it
wanna-
right. Cool. So
Yeah.
If I'll get it right, I think we could win at 1-0. That's probably the most likely win
No.
for us. Yeah, we'll go 1-0. Palmer, go get one.
Actually, I like that.
Is this a replay if it draws?
It's
two-leg
first
semi.
leg.
Straight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's first. Okay. I could see a draw. Just a 0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be 1-1. Just a replay of the 10-man game. Like they're not going to look to. I don't think they'll look to win the game. I think they'll just look to get you guys back at the Emirates and play in front of a home crowd where they can. I mean, the idea that they can give their guys a week off is just so huge in a critical stretch of January. That's where you guys need to exploit this game if you can. I'd like to see you guys win 3-1 and knock them out of one competition. But
I'd love nothing more, Dylan.
it's hard to really pick anybody to beat Arsenal at this point. I can pick them to draw against opponents, which I just predicted a draw since I can't do it in the predicky counter.
It's off the books.
It's off the books, so I can do it here. Anyways, City won a game recently by 9 goals.
I had it on the split screen and I kept missing it because I didn't have audio on. I was like, 7.
Dude, literally, I told Dylan, I was like, every time I look away, they're scoring another one.
I legit
was like,
missed
"Look
the
at
first
this."
4. I legit missed the first 4.
Literally goal.
Literally every time he went to talk to me, I was like, "Oh, they scored." Ridiculous. But the main talking point from this match is you got a debut, and it led to the best debut since Sergio Aguero. I don't care who the opponent is. That's a statement that will live on forever. The best City debuts of recent note have been Sergio Aguero and Antoine Semenyo. Mila, what have you seen so far from the very early glimpses of Semenyo?
I think I texted you guys and told you about his attributes a little bit. And how he described him, and that he's just strong, fast, clinical, and that was, I think he described himself perfectly. We saw that up close and personal for the Exeter game, and like Grant was saying earlier, it's just Exeter, but that sloppiness from his game in the last couple of weeks looked like it was gone. Maybe that he was holding back a little bit. He just looked fluid. He looked tapped into the team already. He'd been training like one day. I think he signed a day before that officially. So he's just ready. He's came in ready to win, put his head down, train, get better, and score goals, which is the important part. He did have a nice assist, but the goal was more so what we've been missing. Just a powerful runner into the space, takes a good touch. No one's going to stop him, and if they do, it's a foul because he's too strong. And then just a good finish to put it past the goalie. Granted, the goalie didn't have a great night, but it's what we needed. He did the Yaya Selly in the 42 jersey, which I didn't even realize at the time because there was just so many celebrations on the day. But seeing that back, it was special. And he got the Yaya blessing with the numbers. So I think he's just going to be a very special player for the club. And it should be fun to see. I think a derby is certainly a time to make a name for yourself at Manchester City.
I sure fucking hope. I don't even know what to say. I just hope that fucking doesn't happen, man. I don't need that on my I don't need that on my conscience. Great.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, man. I already know what's gonna happen. I'm privy to the idea of what that's gonna do to my conscience already. I've already been thinking about it. It sucks. I'll elaborate on that more later. Grant, Semenyo, in terms of this fit and the Pep Guardiola system, where do you see him staying on the left? He played on the left in this one. Do you think that's his primary position? Do you see him playing on the right?
Either one works. I mean, he's done it. He's played both sides this year for Bournemouth. Pretty sure he started on the right. But especially the way City been using those wingers, right? It's been Cherki, it's been Foden, it's been Doku, but we've seen them have that freedom to move inside. And like Mila was saying, someone with his size, pace, and like ability to just drive the ball forward. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be fine really anywhere, especially with the intelligent players that he'll be around, understanding what spaces to take up. Yeah, I don't think it'll be much of a problem. Like Mila was saying, it's just something new. It's dynamic, and I hate using the basketball analogies, but like they needed an athlete, right? They just needed someone that can get above the rim, right? They kind of needed something like that. So yeah, I think again it was Exeter in the cup, but in terms of the qualities that we've already seen in the league, yeah, he'll be able to transfer that.
Yeah, going back and rewatching the goal and the assist, it was just clear how wide he was playing. And that has been missing from this City side all season, was just someone to be touchline wide. But to your guys' point, like the athlete wise, he's the best athlete on the team, barring Holland. And it's not even like Rodri, obviously because of the injury, has taken a step back in terms of athleticism, but it's stark when a player of that speed and just like eating ground, like you can tell he's like pulling up turf as he's running. It's very contrast to the rest of the squad, and it's super enjoyable. He's one of my favorite players to watch, which makes it so fucking difficult for me to be like super over the moon about it, especially with him playing at the weekend against United, which I'll transition to that.
Yeah. I mean, but just before we do that, I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand. We haven't had a player like this all season outside of Holland who gets marked out of some games. Marmoush is kind of similar. He can receive the ball into space and make something with it, but he just hasn't had the opportunities due to injury in AFCON. But Semenyo I think is going to be huge in this. He's going to make it a super tough day for the United defense if they step a little too high at all. Him or Holland is going to have a field day running in behind. I don't know enough to say how we necessarily beat this United team, but I do think if we operate how we've been operating with the additional clinical force of Semenyo and the vibe that brings to the squad, I do think it should be a pretty easy win. Just on paper, at the end of the day, United, City, Manchester derby, it's never going to be easy unless you guys just roll over. Sorry, my Siri activated and started telling me about the derby.
I know what's going on.
Yeah, the man. Was it talking about the man derby?
No, not the man derby. Yeah. What was I saying?
If United don't roll over,
it'll be difficult to lose to Man United, is what you were saying.
Yeah, it'll be different. Basically, what I was saying. Thank you. Basically, what I was saying is it should be easy as long as we operate the way we've been going about. It will be much easier if United roll over and just make it not fun, not a game. I don't see that happening though. I think we will get the win, but I don't necessarily see a steamrolling.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to who's going to be more clinical, and the matchup that I'm watching is the one that I've had every single game, which is Diego Dalot versus whoever the other team's left winger is. And that's Semenyo. And I keep coming back to this point of like, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked. This guy's been garbage, and he gives the ball away in terrible positions. He doesn't look comfortable doesn't look comfortable as a right back, doesn't look comfortable as a right wing back. United are not going to have the ball in this one, and I don't anticipate him being in the right spots. He hasn't been in the right spots.
Is Morocco still in AFCON?
Yep.
Okay,
well,
never mind.
We got
that was the only
Pookie
solution
back
I could
because
think
of that.
of.
It's okay. We got Pookie back because of that. I'll wait for the portion of the United winning it for it. But like that's how City wins, is you're more clinical than United because, like you said, it's a derby and form does go out the window to a certain extent. But both teams are coming off 3 straight draws in the league. That's a crazy stat. 3 straight draws for both teams. A combined 6 points in 6 matches for both man clubs going into this one.
We better get a win and 2 losses at that point.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's way worse. Drawing 3 times in a row is this weird sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot. I know you said the word steamrolling, Mila, but I feel like there have been a few steamrollings in recent memory in this fixture, particularly when you're at home. But yeah, I think away from home,
4:30 kickoff.
Yeah, it's just
for us,
kickoff.
Brutal. Yeah, I mean,
Britain time. It's not. It's
I don't know.
Gonna be
I am feeling one of those steamrollings.
Affair.
I'm feeling one of the steamrollings.
Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. It'll keep me up at that time. But
it's just such an
I've watched
interesting
enough
team in
4:30
transition,
a.m. derbies
right?
to know.
I mean,
not to expect anything.
Yeah, I get it. I just with Man United, I know we'll get into it in a little bit, but another guy coming in trying to implement something, and again, he probably won't do anything drastic from what's already being done, but inherently going from Amorim to pretty much anyone else is a drastic change in terms of how you're going to play. And now Carrick's going to come in and try and tweak a few things. Again, it'll probably not be nothing crazy knowing who you're playing, but I don't know. I just think it's a lot of moving parts, especially with City, like very focused. They know exactly what they have to do from here on out. 3 draws in a row at this stage is unacceptable. So I definitely think they're up for it. Yeah, I do think it might be one of those days.
Yeah, City were given a lifeline with Liverpool drawing against Arsenal at the weekend. Another draw or a loss it's almost unacceptable, like you were saying, and to the title race in general. Like, I don't know if you can do that again. You've been given a lot of extra rain. Like, if Arsenal go 9 points, it's just a lot. It's a lot of points. You know what I mean? The ground to make up is a lot at that point. And I know United go on to play Arsenal the week after, and so they can always pull points there as well. But you almost have to. This is a must-win for City, where I don't feel like it's a must-win for United. United are in just such a polar opposite direction. So I guess for you as a City fan, how important is it for you guys to pick up 3 points here?
I mean, we're fighting for a title. It's drastic. I think Arsenal will take anything that they can get, and this is not a game that we should be losing. Much like the last 3 that we lost. I think that was also the most frustrating part about those, is that we shouldn't have lost any of those games, and the other team walks away with points because of our inadequate performances, mainly in the finishing department. And like I said, Semenyo's coming in hungry, and he's one of those clinical guys, so I do think it's going to be a huge boost. And it might come down to that. It might be a 1-0. It feels like it'll be like a 1-2, 2-0. Nothing crazy. But I have a feeling that he's going to be a major part of that. And it's going to be important to get those 3 points and just get that momentum going and build that relationship even more. Get some fear back into the Premier League teams again.
Yeah. We're going to save the predickies for the very end, since we're going to go into United here. And I want to make sure that everyone who's gotten this far has to wait until the very, very end to see what the predickies are for this one.
Have that.
Yeah, have that. I did a 14-minute soliloquy on the new caretaker, as it was reported yesterday that Michael Carrick is going to come in and be the next interim to the interim 4th official boss of Manchester United, or whatever it is at this point.
With Fergie's blessing.
With Fergie's blessing, of course. And Wayne Rooney now wants to be part of the staff, and I bet you every other, ex-Red. It's just how this works. I'll let you guys kind of take the floor with this, and if anyone wants to hear my full thoughts, they can go to the video.
I don't have many thoughts about this.
I'm just curious, outside perspective, like, what does it feel? Does it have anything for you guys? Was this okay? Actually, let me pose the question: was this the right appointment? Would you, if you were in the sporting director's
I was gonna say,
shoes,
yeah.
would you have gone with
did
Ole or
see-
Carrick?
I saw the breakdown between the two of them, where Carrick wanted to actually implement some principles in terms of how they're playing, versus Ole just kind of wanted to come back and be like, all right, guys, like let's do this again, right? But it's just so redundant. Like, I remember when we brought Lampard back, I was like, this is the same guy we deemed not good enough, and then his replacement won a Champions League. And now we're going back to this same guy who we admitted was not the right guy less than 5 years ago. So Carrick, I think, makes more sense just from that perspective, although I totally understand the feel-good factor. I get it, but I think you got to try a different taste, especially because Ole was kept on for as long as he was, right? It's not like it was a similar situation with Carrick, who I think he was in charge for like 3 games, right, when he was caretaker. So, yeah, I do think it was the right decision. That's a good question.
Mila, are you on the same wavelength of that being the right decision?
I don't know if there was a right decision.
Between the two.
This is probably where I'm at. I guess for the reasons that you guys just brought up, it makes sense. They did have a bit of success under Ole, though, and a lot of people think he was sacked a little too early. So you could have brought him back, but then again, I don't really have an opinion on either of them as coaches when it comes down to just the footy standpoint. I haven't seen enough from either of them personally. I don't know. I think it kind of goes into the same that we were talking about for Rosenor, and that this is a big game if they win, and if they don't win, it's not that big of a deal. You're playing a big team like City, one of the best in the league, and if you do manage to get points off of them, then bravo, you've looked very good. Probably get some fans behind you. But he is a caretaker, so it's more to get the support of the fans behind the players and just the structure there, I guess. So it could be very big for that. But
I think it's just important to get someone in. At least there's a guy, but more importantly, now what? How long are we going to have a caretaker? Is this going to be the end of the year? Like, are we just going to accept whatever results come through, or are we going to try to maintain some standard while there's still a fighting chance to get into some European positions and potentially find the long-term guy before the end of the season? Not to say that would be a positive in every instance to get a guy in let's say March, given who knows where you're going to be at that point, but there just has to be a direction. There has to be at least an active understanding that this needs to get done. There needs to be an idea. We can't just kind of coast through this. A transfer window is open right now. There has to be a groundwork for the future. If I were a United fan, that's the only thing I'd really be kind of on top of.
Yeah, I saved my argument in the Ole video for this. Not because I'm upset, because I sat on a video for a week and a half and never had it see the light of day and then had to delete it today. That's not why I'm salty at all. But I'm an emotional human, and I like the poetic story. I think that this sport has that better than most other sports, where you get these heroic tales and comebacks, and Ole would have been a really good feel-good story in a club that has had very little feel-good moments over the last 18 months. And that's why I was so high on him coming back in, is because, one, he's a great player manager. It's the one thing that he gets kind of touted for. And Carrick isn't necessarily that. Carrick might have come in with a plan to show how he will tactically set up United. We've all talked about it. They don't have the personnel to be tactically set up in any way, shape, or form that's like consistent. That's my biggest concern here, is like, it sounds like they went with, from the reporting that I'm seeing, is it sounds like they went with the cheaper option. It sounds like Carrick came in with the plan to use what's currently available at United, and Ole wanted to bring in people with him during the 6 months. And it sounds like they're cheaping out. In my personal opinion, that's how I feel about this.
Well, I've been doing it since they came in. So
yeah. And it feels like I think there's some not beef, but I don't think Fletcher and Ole necessarily get along anymore. And so like that wouldn't be a part of the plan. And I think Fletcher coming back up, I think there's some fundamental things here where they haven't done enough for me to give them my trust and my faith. And Ole is a story that already proven to work. Now, the main difference here is Carrick, while it worked, he then left, right? So he didn't get the full Ole story, where I feel like if Ole was to stay in the job, I know it's till the summer. The issue is if Carrick comes in here and does just a phenomenal job, we're going to get to the summer. And if he gets Champions League, right, that's very unlikely, but he goes in, he gets Champions League. People are going to be like, put Carrick at the wheel. Let's just run him. And that's just the wrong decision. And I don't trust the United board to not be that type of sentimental with the guy that they've currently put into place. It's concerning from all fronts, where I'm like, I know that once Ole was done with this 6 months, the book closes and it's over, because you don't make the same mistake twice in that sense. But I don't think they have that with Carrick. And that's my concern, is you have to go into the summer and get the next available manager. I mean, now we've seen it. There's a plethora of available managers. The question of who can come in for Manchester United 4 months ago, I had nobody. I now have like a list of 7 managers that I can list off and be like, these are all fantastic options. And the United cannot settle again for Carrick at that list of 7. There's way too many good managers out there now. And that's why I'm concerned, because I don't think anyone is going to tactically put this United team and springboard them this season. I just don't think that's going to happen. We've already seen it. United are playing games and they're holding possession and they're getting better XG than teams. I think that's just kind of where the floor and the ceiling is. They just don't have much of a margin. The team is what it is for the season.
So you're telling me your main issue here is that you do not trust your board to do their job correctly?
Nope.
I'm with you, Dylan.
Nope. I don't trust them at all. And I also think that them not putting Ole in charge means I just don't think they're spending money either. And I think that they should be spending money. I've been very clear on that. I just think they're being cheap bastards, which is what Ineos has been since they've come in. Cheap bastards. They only spend when it's convenient, or when Wilcox has said, you know what, I think this young player can do it. No. You should be spending money at all cylinders. Like, money should be falling out of United's ass right now. That's my personal opinion. Alrighty, let's get into the United segment of how they win. They win because it's a derby, and I said form goes out the window. And they got 2 of their best 4 players back, in Ahmed and Bumo. That's like the only way I can see that going.
Yeah, I think you win through, like we said, kind of Semenyo being a big deal on that Dalot matchup. Whoever the left back is, tired Nico O'Reilly or a Nathan Ake, it's going to be tough playing against Mbeumo. And I think that's the place to attack. It's probably going to be Max Elaine at the center back again. And he did have a good showing again. Exeter game before that was good though. So that does seem to be the weak spot, or at least the spot that you can go fuck around and find out in. Whereas if you go try to run at Kusanov like that, it could end very poorly, really quickly, and you could just get him going, and then he's gonna dominate the game if he's feeling himself, I think. So I could totally see them just attacking Elaine and that left back hard at the start, and just testing the waters there. And that's probably where I'd say United will win the game if they were going to.
Yeah, Grant, do you view it any different than Mila? Do you think there's any other way for United to succeed?
Yeah, no, I think your star players, your star attackers, especially the ones you brought in, those are going to be the guys you're looking at. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is going to go put a shift in, but Cunha or Mbeumo coming back, they probably end up playing a 5, right? I mean, Ahmad and Mbeumo, like that's a known commodity. They might end up going that route. I'm not too sure, but it will be in a quick transition. Your quality attackers are gonna have to show said quality. They're gonna have to put something together and be clinical, like you said.
It'll be really interesting to see how United play in general, just with the influx of players coming back. I think that honestly, in this sport is so momentum based. If United are going to win this game, it's going to be the Bruno to Sesko connection. Sesko had an opportunity in the City game in the first leg where he didn't put it past Donnarumma. He's going to have a chance like that again. City have just been that's kind of been their weak point, is that ball over top. And Sesko's just a good runner against two young center backs. It could be just a place where they can find success. I don't know if it's going to happen necessarily. I don't know how transitional this game's going to be or how deep United are going to sit. But I just say feed the hot hand. Like, Sesko's been really good since Amorim has left and under Fletcher. So you have to just continue to feed the big man. It's a very Shaq type of statement, but the team eats when the big man eats. And that's how it's been recently. Like, if United just put together better defensive performances, they should have more points here because Sesko's starting to find form. Outside of that, I think that Maguire starts. And he finally came back. And I think Lenny Yoro has kind of been ripped apart recently. And I just think that putting him in a game against Holland and Sesko is just a recipe for disaster. And not that I feel overly confident about Harry Maguire versus either of those two. I feel a lot better about that pairing. I've seen Martinez and Maguire give Holland issues. Not that anyone can really stop Holland, but they've given him issues in the past. You have to be competitive. You have to make it a derby. And that's how Manchester United win the game. I'm not confident, but I'm sure as hell predicting a win.
Leaving Gallo at home might help.
We just have no cover there. There's no one else to play that position.
I'm mad. Can you do it in a 4, son?
Can they play Dorgu out? You know what? That could be a possibility. Could you play Dorgu at right back? I mean, I really wouldn't want to see that, but
he could play left back though, low key. I mean, he might.
I thought he was great. Dorgu's been great too. He doesn't.
Yeah,
that's
the shackles of Amorim have unlocked a few guys. It's good to see. But yeah, I think you're gonna have to see a lot of guys play above their typical level in very simple, straightforward terms. You're gonna have a lot of guys who might be giving you usually a 6, so you'll need an 8. I think that comes from the defense, because especially if you get that goal early, City aren't just gonna be like, oh, that's hard. They're gonna immediately try and get that back.
Yeah,
like the pressure will be immense for large portions of that game. A word you guys are familiar with. There will be some suffering throughout the 90 in terms of just defending, but yeah, if guys play above their level, we've seen Maguire step up in games like this, and then again, just a moment of brilliance is all it takes.
Yeah, it might be set pieces. That
very well could
if United are going to win this game, it might be off set pieces. That might be the only real advantage United have, is they've been very good on the set pieces. They scored again at the weekend with a set piece. That's literally the only.
It's possible.
The only real strength that United have over City would be, I guess, on set pieces. But the margins in terms of this is like, you can see a steamroll for City, and for United, it's like they can maybe squeak by with the result, or they're going to get fucked. Like, there's
yeah, pretty much.
It's one of those derbies, and we've been at this point in these derbies like 500 times over the last 4 years. So it's super enjoyable as a United fan to be like, yeah, my team's got a more high likability to get fucked than play well.
Oh, we work hard though, don't we?
Oh, hell yeah, we do. New manager bounce, baby. Interim to the interim to the interim to the interim.
Fire.
Anyways, new segment. New segment. We're gonna start doing the extra time. Yeah, can you cue up a new noise?
Yeah.
Well, wait.
Oh, that's what you meant. Sorry. I don't even know.
What about predicting? What about predicting the? Or we do that at the end.
Get that ready for the next segment of this segment,
because we'll reload it one more time in the
one. Yeah, one more time. We'll go again. Yeah. Welcome to extra time. This is going to be a new segment where pretty much any time that we talk outside of the big teams that we normally talk about, the Uniteds, the Cities, the Chelseas, the Arsenals of the world, whenever we have a feeling that we want to just be like, fuck these guys, or wow, these guys are playing great, like we want to give a special segment, we'll call it the extra time. And today, We have two because there was breaking news. We'll talk about them later. But the first one is Spurs because I have so many things to say about this, but I want to keep it short. What the fuck? Mila, you before the conversation started, you said that you try not to watch Spurs matches anymore.
Dude, they're boring. We've talked about it. They don't put the ball forward.
Yeah, well they signed Gallagher today.
Oh, well, that's it.
They
If
don't
you
put
want
the
to
ball
put the ball
forward.
forward, that is one of the last signings you should be making. But again, I
don't
think
know. If I wanted,
it's Spurs. Go for it.
like they're not keeping possession in great ways. They're not dribble master classes. Like it's boring footy where they're putting in a lot of tackles and still not getting results. Like at least with some other teams, a defensive approach would get them results. Or but to not even attack and to concede 27 goals, it's just boring. They're
crazy.
really middle of the pack for both of their goals for and assists or against, but to be boring on top of that with no aspirations and like 14th place it's a terrible time to be a Spurs fan, I'm sure. Especially after winning a trophy and thinking that maybe there's something going, maybe we can build on that. No,
Not at all. And it's crazy. They don't have bad defenders, right? I mean, like Romero and Van de Ven, I think, are both very good. But again, when you have this many issues throughout your entire team, like the midfield, the Gallagher coming in is just so funny to me. I as much as I didn't think we should have kept him, it does suck to see him go to Spurs. I just hate to see that for him. But yeah, it just doesn't address anything. No one in their midfield can progress the ball forward. So that just leads to long balls or your fullbacks just bombing up and being out of position when they inevitably lose the ball. I mean, in terms of your wide attackers, you're shoehorning in forwards like Tell or Kolomuani. Odebear's still young. He's showing a little bit, but again, not one of those guys you can play every game. I mean, Kudus, it was just funneling the ball to him, 2v1s and hope for the best. And again, he's just kind of a high volume guy. He'll just keep going, but not necessarily the most efficient. And then Richarlison's been your best striker. Yeah, it's 2026. That shouldn't be going on if you're trying to compete at top level. Yeah, just really everything going wrong. Whether that's recruitment, not being on the same page, not having a direction. It's crazy. I thought Frank would be the perfect appointment for this sort of team. It's ragtag. I don't necessarily know what the solution is, but he's shown to be flexible in that sense and sort of figure things out. But it is different when you have to be on the front foot. I think that's really what we're seeing when there's not as many expectations. Everyone's going to kind of come at you and try to beat you convincingly. It's a lot easier to get your game off, right? Versus to filthy low block and figure that out. So maybe it's that, but yeah, I didn't think they'd be great, but I'm still shocked at how bad they've been.
Yeah, this was my biggest concern when Frank came in, is he had never managed at a higher level than Brentford. That was the level, and now he had to go into one of the worst situations in the Premier League and right the ship. And I don't know if he's a bad manager or a good manager. I've never been able to really tell. I know that he's had great players, and I know that he's gotten the best out of said players. But does that just come down to individual quality? I mean, look where Brentford is right now without those guys. With a completely different manager. Yep. And I look at the Spurs side and I go, the one thing that I was told that Thomas Frank does is gets the best out of players. I see regression everywhere. I don't think there's a single player that I can look at in his system or the way that they're playing and go, that guy's playing good. Xavi Simons, a great talent. Chelsea, we're looking at him this summer. We talked about him being this glorified talent. He's been awful under Frank. They have no utilization for him. And I just come back to the question of why hasn't he been sacked? All the other clubs have sacked managers. You have a free ride to do whatever the hell you want if you're Spurs here. Is it just because they're trying to play cheap here too because they don't want to give him a severance? They don't want to admit fault? I mean, I'm going to read you through like the next month and a half, and you can tell me where you think he gets sacked. because it can't get much worse than this before they pull the plug
It
on.
can.
They got West Ham next weekend.
Okay.
Losing.
That'll buy him a few weeks.
Dortmund, Burnley, Frankfurt, City, United, Newcastle. That's the end of January. Or sorry, that runs into the early portions of February. You then play Arsenal, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Liverpool.
He's not
That
making
brings
it
you
to
into
that
March.
Arsenal game. He's not making it to
Is
the
he
Arsenal game.
I don't think he makes it. I
He-
think that potentially they lose this weekend against West Ham and he's gone.
Tati Castellanos.
If they lose to West
brace
Ham this
is
year,
gonna make him lose his job.
Dude, it'll put them in a relegation battle. Like I don't think people are really grasping how dire this situation is, and I don't want to spend too much time dragging on about it until potentially
they're bringing
he
in
is
Conor
sacked
Gallagher. They'll be just fine.
for $40 million. His price tag was 25. What the fuck? They're fighting themselves. Like Van de Ven's gonna leave in
And
the
no
summer. Romero is fighting the
no
board.
one's trying to sign Conor Gallagher. I think that should tell you something. And again, sometimes you've got good scouts, right? And you're on to gems, but this was a player that, again, as much as I liked and wanted him to succeed, like there's a reason that we did not retain him. He has limitations in his game. He has a technical ceiling, and yeah, I mean, Spurs cannot progress the ball, and they sign. It is the most redundant signing. It genuinely makes me think like they're trying to do this. Like that is one of the last profiles you would look at in terms of like looking at Spurs and realizing what they need in the middle. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's had it easy. I literally have spelled out that that barring United is the worst situation to go into. But he was the manager that was supposed to work with broken toys and make them work again.
Right.
And that hasn't happened. So if that was your whole model, that was your whole DNA with Thomas Frank, and it hasn't worked, you got to go get someone else. Because they've played better football under every other manager that they've sacked going up to this point.
Ange is not employed.
That's so crazy. They had never won
Go
a
get 'em.
European trophy in a ridiculous number of years, and they win it, and they don't even let him see out 6 months.
Nah, I get it. I'm not.
No.
I understand why they sacked him. I think both managers deserve to lose their jobs after those seasons, individually. But yeah, at least there was a feeling under Ange, and it was maybe it's all from that first 10 games he had, but there was an understanding, there was an idea, and once you always want what you don't have. Like under Ange, they just wanted a coach who would be pragmatic once, but once he left, you don't know what you have until it's gone, right?
2 words to summarize this segment. It's Spurs.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, that also works. All right, Mila, cue up the noise.
Oh.
3, 2, 1. Thank you for your time. I don't think anyone was actually prepared for this to happen because it hit me like a nuke. I don't have a better word at the time. Sorry. But Xabi Alonso is just out as manager at Real Madrid. And the reporting in this junction is really convoluted. I think we'll see more as the days continue, which will be really interesting to get into with Alex and Shadman. But at the time of recording, it sounds like he left on his own accord because he believes there's too much power within the players. Mila, you have been maybe the first believer that Mbappe is the Antichrist. So I'm going to let you take the floor here.
Yeah. I think I said this plenty, or at least maybe not on video. I'm sure I said it on video. We can go back and check. Someone can check. But I said it to Shadman plenty that he does this in locker rooms. He makes it me. And sure, that can work at PSG. They'll give you whatever percentage ownership of the club. And they'll give you whatever you want, bring whoever you want in, and it'll be all fun and games there. And you can have leverage over them when you go to your new team. But this is Real Madrid. They have plenty of these guys that can compete to say that they're the best in the world. And it's just not the place for that. And I think you could have seen it going one of 2 ways. And I'm sure the Madrid fans saw it going the other way. But I had a pretty strong feeling that he'd come in and his attitude would spread to the other egos in the locker room. Ego's not necessarily a bad thing in footy. A lot of the greats have egos, and they're great because of that ego. But when it gets in the way of the team, the overall goals of the club and the badge that you're playing for, I think, one, it's pathetic. Two, he's a Ballon d'Or candidate. And I know I sent you guys that realization that the fair play is part of that thing, and it's consistent with them lately. I know we're talking mainly Mbappe in this situation, but Vinny also has his issues with that. His seem a little more passionate though, so I think he gets a little less, or at least from us, he gets a little less shtick for it. But Mbappe, it just seems like, oh, he's pouting. It's not going his way, so he doesn't want to do this. Specifically with a guard of honor against one of your biggest rivals. No one wants to do a guard of honor for your biggest rivals, but they've done one for them in this situation. And from the reports, it seems like Xabi Alonso, the professional he is, wanted his team to do that, and he didn't have the control over the locker room to basically be like, get your ass out there and do the guard of honor, because they either don't respect him or the board doesn't respect him, and that has rubbed off on the players. So it's a mess, and you could say it's harsh to blame it on one player, but I think Ancelotti was doing an okay job of managing the egos. There was some tactical questions and substitution issues that people had complained about, but in terms of the egos, it was fine. It took 1 year of Mbappe. Now they're moving on to the next coach. It seems like we're getting to a point where players are outlasting the coaches more often now, and that's having a big effect on how clubs operate, as we've seen this past 2 weeks. Whereas before, I think you would say, oh, the manager's probably going to outlast most of these players. So, it's super interesting. But what do you guys think about it, and Boob?
Yeah, I think we looked at it in the summer with Xabi and the situation he's walking into. It's really hard to kind of build this project and lay this sort of foundation when you're at the biggest club, the penultimate, like it's Real Madrid. Like, you're not going to have time to get through growing pains. I think he had like a 71% win percentage in his time there, but it didn't feel that way because every loss is under a magnifying glass. So yeah, it did feel, especially in hindsight, like an untenable situation given what he's being asked to do and the tools he has to do it. I mean, I feel like I brought it up a lot with how Real Madrid have been built. It's Galactico era, right? Where it's like, oh, we're bringing in the best players, but you have a bunch of like left-footed 10s. You have all left wingers. You don't have enough defenders. Your midfield is not the same, regardless of how many good young midfield talents they have. It's not what it was. And I think part of that's also just that DNA at Real Madrid, right? Like a Luka Modric, a Toni Kroos, just having those types of guys. Even, yeah, Danny Carvajal's still there, but like the likes of Nacho, like those sort of guys that understood. Like you're saying, like those guys had egos. They're some of the best players in the world at one of the best clubs in the world, but they understood the sacrifices necessary in order to win. I think they had that locked up before Mbappe arrived, right? The Vinny, Rodrigo, Bellingham front three. It worked wonders. They won a Champions League. But yeah, as much as I think Mbappe is just an otherworldly talent, Mila, you got another one. I think you might have been right. And the more you think about it, it's kind of been this way Mbappe's whole career, right? A year after Neymar moved, Mbappe immediately took that team, and Neymar moved for 222 million. Like, I feel like this has kind of been a pattern throughout his career where it's just been yes to everything. And those shortcuts are starting to catch up.
You guys know how big of a fan of Mbappe I am. So I'll save my thoughts on him in particular, because I think this is more, I can't say the word right now, but I think it's more a byproduct of the system in general with Real Madrid. And I think they have given so much power to everyone involved. All the players have way too much power, and I think that goes beyond Mbappe. I think he's going to be the outlier here, or not the outlier. I think he's going to be the main sticking point because he's the biggest and best player. He's one of the best players in the world. And everywhere he's gone, that tends to follow him. Right? But I just think if we put the facts out in front of us, right, and we go from where we're at currently to 1,000 meters away, and we look at where it started, which was Real Madrid wanted a tactical manager. So they got rid of the vibes manager for the tactical manager. And the tactical manager, halfway through a season, competing with the only other team that they can compete with, really, left with a 4-point gap. That's crazy. That's crazy. For a project manager who was the most sought-after manager in the entire world to say, I no longer want this project, with a 4-point gap on a team that is just above Real Madrid right now. They were all of last season. They came into the season with the same thing. For him to say, I want out, is so baffling. And it just says everything about what I need to know about Perez and the way that they're currently being run. Because I think everyone's got ridiculous power. Because as much as we want to highlight Mbappe, and I know that nobody wants to do it right now, but I think Vinny, Mila, you said it too. Like, this guy has openly done it. Rodrigo openly did it. Valverde has been openly spoken about the manager. It's multiple players. I don't think it's only Mbappe. But to your point, this is supposed to be the best player on planet Earth.
He's the main
I don't
culprit.
think it's fair. Yeah, you're right. It's not fair to say it's only him, but I do think personalities change a lot due to who you are surrounding yourself with. And if you looked at this a year or two ago with no Mbappe, I'm not necessarily sure. These conversations are still coming into play. Rodrigo never had this attitude. This is a new thing.
Well, yeah, when everything's going good, you're never going to have these issues. But once
he
it
never
goes
had,
bad,
like,
it was
I know,
starting to
but-
go bad with Ancelotti, and then everything kind of sparked. Vinny started going and getting like his news. I just think that I will talk about Mbappe because it needs to be better. The answer, and I told you guys, like, he's turning into a version of Zlatan, where the trophies don't follow how good this player is, and that's alarming. He's running off the success of when he was a young player that everyone was marveling at. And while he puts up the goals and the assists and he's got the statistics, that doesn't matter in this sport if you're not winning trophies. Ronaldo and Messi aren't in the conversation of the greatest of all time without the trophies. I mean, what is the one thing that has avoided Ronaldo that gets marked against him the most? The World Cup. Mbappe's got it, and he doesn't have anything else to platform him. Every other great player got the other stuff first. He did the inverse. He got the hardest part out of the way first. And he hasn't been able to duplicate or pull up any other team other than one of the great Monaco sides of recent memories. And that's alarming from a Mbappe standpoint. And I'm one of his biggest
I
fans.
think
That's why I started by protecting
everything
him.
you just said is my arguments to. He's just a spoiled brat, bro.
He might be. Yeah.
And it rubs off on the people around you. You hang out with spoiled brats, you're gonna act like a spoiled brat.
That's their 2 stars. Their 2 stars are spoiled brats. That I just think it's more than him, but I do agree that you are influenced by the people that you're closest around. Well, I don't think I would talk
And
anywhere
like you're
highly
saying,
of
he's
City
supposed to
if
be
we weren't on the spot.
a
Or
big
Chelsea,
player.
for that matter.
He's supposed to be one of the guys in times of been bad times. You're supposed to lead by example. Supposed to pick up your teammates. He doesn't do any of that shit.
No.
So what? He can play good footy. Like you were saying, if the trophies don't come with it at this point, then we're all living in the past. And that's my fucking biggest pet peeve in footy, is living in the past. The moments are great, but we watch what's going on right now. We're not here to live in the past. So for him to be like, oh, I was good. How long ago was that?
I mean,
8
no,
years ago?
he is still.
I mean,
good.
he's still good. He's still good. But to back up
Yeah.
the good stuff with trophies and stuff, like he had a very good team at Monaco, and they went far in the Champions League. He had probably the best national team with him at France, and he did help them a lot to go win that trophy. And that's that. Gets a 200 mil move to PSG, gets Messi, gets Neymar. And I think they expected a Champions League. That was a massive failure in their eyes. They blew it up. And then he became this toxic piece, not just in the dressing room, at the entire club, funneling away funds. Like, I don't know. He's a detriment to the team and the club wherever he goes outside of Monaco, because they made a buck ton of money out of him and they got rid of him before he could cause any issues.
PSG won a sextuple. I mean, to support your argument, they literally won every trophy available to them bar one as soon as he left. And Real Madrid, the club that wins trophies, did not win a trophy. So as unbelievable as he is, as amazing as his goal scoring is, yeah, at a certain point, he's entering his prime years. Especially when you're at Real Madrid, you run out of reasons to have an empty CV.
My last argument in this is the Champions League was evading us as a club, and we go and grab the guy that is touted as this guy's competition, and we go and win it. We go and win it, everything that we can, almost everything that we can, and he's continuously helping us win. And it's not like to say that City's a much different club in Madrid when it comes to those aspects. They should both be racking in the trophies, much longer time. But if we're comparing it like they do Messi, Ronaldo, then you have to look at that too, I think. And to say that, oh, he has a World Cup, Holland's been scoring goals left and right for international, no one cares.
He just got them to the World Cup.
And he does it now.
For the first time in 30 years. That's a huge accomplishment internationally.
Yeah. I don't question Mbappe internationally. I think he plays with pride when he's there. I don't feel the same way when he plays for Madrid. I don't see the pride in his game. I enjoy watching Mbappe the most when he's playing for France. And there is a sense of, I don't know if it's freedom, but just there's a sense to his game that he cares, he gives a shit, and I just don't see it. I don't see it in Madrid, and I don't know if that's because the pressure that has followed him or what.
Less time to infect the locker room with the national team.
No, dude. The dude went to 2 back-to-back World Cups, won a World Cup. No. That
was good though.
I'm not having that argument. I'm not having that argument. I just think I'm not having that one.
He's the captain now, so even more responsibility falls on him because he made sure Griezmann wouldn't touch that armband. He said that better be mine.
Let's see how they perform.
I mean, he deserves to have the armband for France. I don't question that. He won a World Cup and then he backed it up by being one of the best players and then scored a hat trick in the next World Cup final. And then he continued. He's their all-time
over Griezmann is crazy. That's really all I had on
Griezmann's not playing for France anymore.
No, it was after they lost, after Lloris retired. So it was right before the Euros, I believe. It was like between Griezmann and Mbappe, and Mbappe got it.
Was this after the World Cup?
Yes.
Yeah, so they gave it to the guy who scored a hat trick in the World Cup final.
Yeah,
one of their best ever, like one of their best ever. And the France stuff, that's what I'm saying.
Captain material.
I don't put him in France and him at club level in the same conversation anymore. They're like 2 different players. Fine. It's so weird. He's the most puzzling. He's the most puzzling superstar I think I've ever seen in any sport. Because I can't figure it out. I genuinely enjoy everything about his game, but all these stuff, they just a giant like blemish on everything that he's got on his resume. He got his
that Enrique clip.
He forced
you seen that Enrique clip.
Yeah.
I saw that again today, and I mean, it kind of honestly sums it up. Like Mbappe just like nodding his head the whole time, but he just couldn't give a shit. That's what it felt like from watching that video. Where it's just like,
why is it? I just don't know why it's such a stark difference. It is like 2 different players in terms of the give a fuck, and maybe that's just because he loves the national team in France so much. But you'd think that he'd take pride in what he is as a football player.
No.
Sucks. It sucks. I don't like seeing good players ruin their careers. It was very similar to Zlatan. Like Zlatan was just a big name, big character that never really had the trophies to follow him. And that was the biggest blemish for him. It will become the biggest blemish for Mbappe throughout his career because he should be considered in that conversation for all-time great. That was the trajectory going forward.
He still will be. It's just going to be a major.
But we won't have him in those conversations. It's going to be like
you wouldn't have thought Dembele would get a Ballon d'Or before him.
The conversations when he
insane. It's
made
crazy.
that move to PSG was like, this guy might be the next Ronaldo. I don't see it that way. I just don't. Not with the way that this is going. Because Real Madrid and Ronaldo, for as much as he's given he's a prick, he's bigger than everything, this guy's a douchebag. He never for 1 second acted bigger than Real Madrid. That never happened. That never happened.
Well, I don't know. He got them trophies. I think that's the big
Maybe,
difference.
maybe.
At the end of the day, if you're a prick and you get trophies, it doesn't fucking matter. If you're gonna be a prick and only just score goals for your resume, no one gives a shit. So I think that's also the big talking point that Sean Munn's gonna bring up when he comes on, is that congratulations, you're scoring goals. The Madrid fans
calories?
don't fucking
It's your
care.
job. Yeah.
If you're an Mbappe fan, congratulations. You're thriving right now, I guess you could say. But if you care about your club, and I think this can be said by any team, a player that's scoring a lot for a team that's not winning anything is just going to move on at some point, and that probably isn't going to be said about Madrid, but anywhere else that's the case. It doesn't really do anything for the fans, for the board. It really only boosts that player. So I totally understand Madrid fans not being satisfied with him, regardless of performance. And I guess that's where I kind of cringe when I hear that he gets the captain's armband for the national team, is also because it's the same character. At the end of the day, he might operate a little differently because he likes one more than the other. But I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way to see him with a captain's armband after we just talked about how he's not the greatest of role models or leaders I guess role models is fine, but leaders in a locker room.
Yeah. I think you said it in the text thread, and I'll leave it at this. Is you said, I think that he's the perfect pro club striker for a team that always loses 5-2.
Was that Grant?
Somebody said it, and I was like, that's gold, because that's what it is. He gets his stats. He gets to go home and show his girlfriend that he scored 2 goals, but ultimately everyone else on the team is left frustrated, and the manager gets changed out every single game, because that's what happens on pro clubs. All right, predictions to end it, and then we'll get out of here. Derby is at 4:30. Fucking get in. 2-1 United.
4-1. Holland's putting 3 past you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
One of them from the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm starting to believe in Holland and the winter being an issue. So, Semenyo 2-0.
Yeah, that works. And then Chelsea take on Brentford right after that at 7 a.m. local.
I'm sorry. What did you think was going to happen, Dylan?
Oh, I said it right
He
before
did say
you
it.
went,
He said it
which
very,
was
very
Esco 2-1 United.
2-1.
Going with Mila's from last week. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chelsea Brentford 2-1. Yeah, we'll win 2-1. Of course
Brentford?
we're gonna win, right? No. No, we're gonna win, and Gittins is gonna score.
Nice.
Gittins will get his first Prem goal.
Nice. I like that.
Haven't forgot about those stocks.
Hold on. Let's see this.
I'm gonna go, because I think you prioritize midweek. I'm gonna go 2-1 Brentford, because that's just been consistent recently. And I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna butcher it. Is it Coyote?
Coyote.
Oh, he's gonna get an assist off the fucking long throw.
2.
Yeah, see, the problem is, Dylan, we usually concede after the flick on, so someone will flick it near post.
Damn it,
That's
a good
your
point.
danger, man.
That's a good point.
That's your danger, man.
Well, I can tell you it's not going to
be on the back post. Like, what?
I'm going to tell you that it won't be Thiago, because he's been in great form, and that doesn't.
Right? Yeah, that would,
good form strikers scoring.
Yeah.
Bad form striker scoring.
He has to compete with Holland. I think he's getting a hat trick. I'm going to call it 3-1 Brentford.
That's filth, dude. You just signed the 70 million price tag that he's going to Chelsea next summer with that prediction.
He does not look at the part. He doesn't look 20 years
yes, he
old.
does. What are you talking about?
He looks 38, mate.
No,
yeah,
dude,
and he's
I watch-
Brazilian.
I don't know. I watch him every game and I go, this is the worst player ever. And then he scores 2 goals and I'm like, what the fuck?
At the end, like that, I don't want to hear these one-season wonders things because he might end the season with like 30 goals. That's not a one-season wonder by any means.
This one
So,
season
like,
very wonderful.
Huh? I guess. I guess
No,
that's fair.
I genuinely watch him
Well,
play. And I'm
how
like,
many?
this guy
How many did
sucks.
he end with? Chris Wood did
He
not
has
end with.
16 goals.
Like
I
that's
know,
what I'm saying.
I
There's
know,
like
it's
17
ridiculous.
games
It's
left. He
ridiculous.
scores multiple times
Dude, he's
a
crazy.
game usually when he does score.
You guys should check out
So-
his player trait graph if you haven't and you're made
it
it this
funny?
far into it's fucking hilarious. It's 96% in goals. It's 96 in defensive contributions.
Okay, yeah. Chris
Zero
Wood had
percentage.
20 goals last year.
Yeah, he did.
Thiago's on 19.
All comps.
All
comps.
comps.
All comps.
Yeah, all comps.
Dude, we're not buying him.
Okay, here's the thing though. Like, I could genuinely see Thiago not scoring for the rest of the year. Like, I just
don't
don't.
think
I
he can.
don't see it with
I
him
don't think
at
he
all.
can.
I genuinely, I watch him
No,
play.
he
And I'm
takes
like,
their
this guy is
penalties. He takes their pens, and he just rattles in goals sometimes.
No,
and that's
I'm
just
not
him.
saying
Do
he
you remember
won't-
how
I'm
many
not
goals
saying he won't.
Mbumo would score where he just kind of ends up there and it's like, oh, he scored. Yeah, like Brentford just always kind of seem to have those types of goal scorers where they're just like, oh, yep, that's a chance. Put it away. Like
I don't know. I just watch this guy and I go, he sucks, and then he goes away with 2. That's a great compliment to give him. Like, I don't see it, but he's fucking
So
back.
funny.
Good for him.
He's just a goal scorer, bro. It's basically just a mini what they were calling Holland. Like, this guy deserves to be in the championship, and then he's walking away with goals every game. So fuck off. Who cares?
he's a bagsman.
No, look,
This is
man.
what they thought Jokeres would be, bro. Like he would just walk in and score goals.
And
it would
also,
be
like, I
but he'd
think-
score goals.
Like you were saying, he's 24. He's not. He looks like he's 30, but he's not 30 years old. He's a young striker that like is just making.
Mind
his
you, they
name in the
signed him
league.
last summer and he tore his ACL. So like,
Yeah, no,
this was
Even
already the
crazier. This is
contingency
off an ACL recovery. Like,
Bro,
this
he was the Ivan Toney
Bro.
replacement.
What he's doing
Then-
is great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see it. I just watch him and I'm
Yeah.
like, this guy isn't it.
16 league goals.
He
is
could
wicked.
continue to prove me wrong. Them being
He
this
has-
good so far with
I don't
all
think
his
anyone on
goals is a
Chelsea
great
will
number
score
Then he did
16 league
appearances.
goals.
No,
He had to
no,
double
that's
the goals. Like he has 17 goals and 1 assist this year. He had 8 appearances last year.
no. It's a phenomenal story, and Brentford are a great story and a great thing for the Prem. Like what they're doing currently is awesome.
I hope you guys buy him.
Very Barclays. We won't. We already spent our money on a striker. It's over.
We might get
It's
another
over,
one just
we won't.
cause.
Just Kane, maybe.
No, they have a lot of Brazilians right now.
We do have a decent amount of Brazilians.
We've hit
well,
our
we're gonna
quota,
have to
I
replace
believe.
them.
Gotta get back to young English men.
All right. Well, let's end it there.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
Plays.
thanks for joining us along in episode 80. That was the one I really enjoyed. We got to debut a new segment with the gong noise. That's staying forever.
Oh, never leaving.
When we come back to the episode 81, there will be multiple predicky and super predickies. That's my bet.
Probably not from me. Shit.
No, definitely not from you. Alrighty, well, I'm Dylan. That's Mila. That's Grant. This has been Clash of Clubs, episode 80, and we'll see you guys in.
Two words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.